wife is from a small town in the north of Brazil. And I realized that my apartment in Sao Paulo, the rent on the apartment basically pays for my life. You know, not a fancy life, but it covers all the costs. So I retired when I was 47. And now I am. And now I've decided, you know, my sculpture's going well, but I've decided to take chess over the last few years. I've taken chess more seriously. Yeah. Um, so, well, my sculpture, I work principally, when I lived in Sao Paulo, I worked with welded metal, but my area now, my area now is I work with wire. I'll send you some links, and you can, yeah. And so I've got the time to work on my chess. But one of the things, and I take a while to get to the point, but here's the point that has amazed me. For example, um, if I think back in the day when I was, you know, in South Africa or in England playing chess, you know, in my late teens, early 20s. I suppose I was like, in those days, a like 1900, 2000 strength player. And so for me, like, and the conversion that I'm following is about chess.com is maybe 200 points uh, over FIDE. And for me, so you were rating and said, according to that, you're like a 1400. And when I used to play chess, people, you know, they would just blunder pieces and play terribly, easy game. And what I found, everyone's good now. I mean, literally, I almost never get an easy game. And like I was like looking at this game, and I thought, I didn't do it too much research. I saw the only game I found quickly looking on your page was you played knight f6 and then d5. And I thought, well, you know, that's a nice sort of straightforward, small advantage, lovely. And then we get into the game, and you play this very well played Tartakova, QGD, good ideas. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. No, I mean, I think you played it very well. I'm not sure um, if I go back to, you know, if we're looking at the game, I'm not sure whether. Okay, so where do I hit share screen? Yeah. Okay. See if this is okay. Okay, so if I if I go back to um, where are we? When I played, you know, when you played Rook D8, I mean, in this position, I felt I definitely have a big advantage. Now, perhaps I kind of underestimated this defense that you put up. Perhaps in this position, I just play something like f4 and and just play on the queen side. So I simplified thinking that I'm going to get a big edge with my c pawn and so on, but it doesn't. To me, it doesn't really look like. Yeah. So knight a4. Given that I'm not going to win a pawn, that just blows all my advantage. So that knight exchange was very bad. So now I've got a little advantage, but nothing more. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I should have perhaps played that. The way it worked, we get into this position. I mean, I don't think exchanging. I mean, I thought it was good that the exchange on d4, as a later on, but the computer doesn't like it. I mean, I'm not sure what the right sort of idea would be. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, in my sort of quick assessment, playing Queen E8 and Rook D8 just doesn't look right because missed. Then playing in knight C5. Okay. So when you play B5, I think the simplest thing to do here, um, well, one idea that was interesting, um, and then I played my next move fairly quickly. I need to slow down in these games, but I played the next move fairly quickly, and perhaps I didn't really analyze, but it was an idea in my mind. Perhaps Rook E1, exploiting the pin profile. Yeah. But now when you play knight f6, I now play knight c5. So this wasn't well played by me. Um, so yeah, knight c5 blows the advantage. I wonder what, I'm just going to have a quick look. Can I play rook e1? No, it doesn't like it. It doesn't like it. Okay. So then have a look at my other idea. So the other idea would have been to take on d7 first. Yeah. And so let's say you play queen takes, and now knight c5. Or perhaps not even knight c5, knight b6. Yeah. But maybe if I played something like this, and but I mean, I think the moral of the story for me is I need to play slower, because I don't think um, this is an impossible line to calculate. This is pretty pretty obvious, to be honest. And yeah, so I mean, it was a very interesting game. I mean, my sort of rough plan, I'd like to play over the board chess again, but I mean, where I live is absolutely in the middle of nowhere. So my plan is basically I've started a sort of a training a bit more now. And the idea is to spend the next, there's a tournament that I think I'll be able to play in a year's time, looking at my so I'm going to give myself a year's study. A lot of people say that playing these games on the internet it's not the same, and obviously it isn't. But one of the criticisms people say, it's easy to be distracted, and quite frankly, I don't think, I mean, I think my focus is pretty good on the computer. Yeah, obviously you've got to adjust to looking at a 3D board instead of a 2D screen, but I think there's more distractions in a tournament. There's all the other games, for example. Yeah, I mean, okay, I've had to refresh. Yeah. Yeah. One of the things, because I'm looking at the time, I'm looking at the time, and I've got about another 10 minutes, and then I need to go. I definitely need to go. Right at the end, there was a very interesting one where, um, so after I played Bishop A6, um, no. I had a different plan in mind, because Queen A3, you end up, there's a pin and all that. No, what I was going to go thinking of playing, I mean, it might be nonsense, was this. I was thinking of playing Bishop takes B5, but it's worse. And then I play this move here. And the point is that I have a discovered check. If you move your king, you're just, so if you move your king, I've got a devastating attack with the three passes, and you can't take the rook because of the queen fork. So I was kind of hoping you'd go into this, but never mind. Yeah, yeah. That was no. What I was going to say is that coming back, to an overview of the game, sort of summarizing. And, like I play a game like this, and I cannot comprehend how your chess.com rating is what it is. It makes no sense. Mhm. And you did. Yeah, no, you certainly did. I mean, you made some mistakes, but I don't think they were like, I made some mistakes. I mean, making mistakes is normal. Uh, yeah, no, I kind of figured you'd miss that. Um, it was a very, very interesting game. And in the end, I mean, I'm playing, I want to improve and all of this, and you're playing, you want to improve. I'm not a professional.